Okay, it's go time. Thank you everyone for joining. I just want to give a little bit of an intro. My name is Sarah Rosso. I'm the Director of Product Marketing for Connected Platform, which includes our developers and all the folks building on the platform. And I want to talk a little bit about the panel today. So first of all, you've seen some like forward-looking statements in other sessions, just reminding you that's also in effect this session as well. And while we're waiting to get started, I would love to hear about the thing you're most excited so far today. As I'm giving you a little bit of this feedback, that'll help us kind of gauge where the questions might go. But today, we're gathering a few of our HubSpot product experts to delve deeper into community questions. Some of the questions we're going to kick off with were asked earlier in other sessions and places, and you'll also have a chance to submit and upvote questions right now. So if you have a question to submit, use the Q&A function to submit your question. If you're shy, you can also help by upvoting a question to get it attention. It is best to use our time today to talk about the features and the announcements of the things we presented. And then while we won't be able to answer every question live, some of those questions we may answer in the Q&A box directly, and some we may answer in a blog post or in channels following the event. So, and a big plug, if you're not signed up for the HubSpot developer newsletter, do it now. We highlight all the best content from our channels and community on a monthly basis, and all the content from this event will be in that as well. And I'll ask someone to drop in a link for us. But first, we'd love for you to get to know all of our panelists, and I'm going to pass it to popcorn it to Timothy.
Hello, everybody. My name's Tim, or Timothy Finley, pronouns he, him. I am a principal software engineer at HubSpot. I've been here for a long time, 11 plus years. I've been working on the CMS and content platform for a while. In the past year plus, I've been working with our developer experience teams. And as some of you probably saw in a panel earlier, on doing some JavaScript building blocks and JavaScript server-side work. I'd love to talk with you today. Popcorn it to David.
Hi, everyone. My name is David Adams. I'm a developer advocate engineer at HubSpot. My pronouns are he, him. I've also been at HubSpot for a very long time, a little over 12 years at this point, and helping HubSpot developers for the vast majority of that, answering developer questions for at least 10 or so years. And I will hand it to Mark.
I think that was Mark. Hey, everyone. My name is Mark Hazelwood. I'm a design lead on the developer product group here at HubSpot, working on a lot of the developer experience platform. I've been here for not quite as long as Dave and Tim, about 7 years, but I probably met some of you. Really excited to talk about some of the new features and answer all your questions. We go Sejal.
Hey everyone, I'm Sejal. I'm a product manager at HubSpot. Like everyone here, I'm relatively new to HubSpot. I'm 6 months into HubSpot and really enjoying the community that we have got here. Thank you. Charles?
Thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Charles Balma. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a product manager working on the CMS developer experience. And I'm the newbie to the bunch, so I've been here for a few months at HubSpot, and I'm really enjoying learning about and engaging with the community. And I will pass it to Ben.
Hey everyone, I'm Ben Anderson. I'm an engineering lead on HubSpot Developer Platform. Right now, I'm focused on UI extensions, which you saw earlier, and also just more recently on HubSpot projects. And I can't compete with Tim and David, but I think I'm about where Mark is. I'm going on about 8 years at the company and just really looking forward to hearing from you all today.
Thanks, everyone, for the intros. I am seeing a bunch of questions filter in. I think you're going to be pleased. I saw one. I think the most upvoted one is already on our slate to answer. So we will get to your community questions. Keep them coming. Keep voting. And I'm going to kick us off for the CRM folks. The CRM development tools are in beta right now. What kind of feedback are you getting for folks in the beta, and what are they most excited about?
I think so feedback we have been getting so far, like they've been in the beta for a while, and we've been getting really encouraging feedback from everyone. Thank you for everyone who have tested for beta. Your feedback has been really helping us improve the product a lot. Thomas Lane, who was in the chat earlier, I don't know if he's here now, but his team has built a QR code generator using it. One of the, something with they kind of integrated custom forecasting solution that they had homegrown. So people are building a lot of innovative stuff with it. And the more they test and more things that we know what you're trying to do, where you're struggling, where your challenges, it helps us improve the product. It helps us identify where the gaps are and where we need to fill, where we need to put more priorities. So yeah, keep testing and keep reaching out to us with feedback. Thank you. I won't see if Mark has anything to add, or Ben, do you have anything to add to what I said for beta?
Yeah, I can say a little bit more, and I think I've been on a few of the feedback calls with some of you, so yeah, really appreciate everything we're hearing. We're already hearing some of the themes from the feedback from the project's beta. One of the things we're hearing is improvements to testing and debugging. So that's been a big thing on our radar. Right now, we know like it's not very easy to find logs and all the related events related to like CRM card rendering and debugging of serverless functions. So like that's one of the big feedback themes we're hearing, and one of the things that we're working on to improve. Another one that's close to my heart is the overall kind of projects model. This is like a brand new system for us. It's a brand new model for building stuff. So we've seen some confusion about like how it relates to our previous systems, like private apps, and kind of what the longer term future architecture is going to look like. So like this is a big thing we're hearing, and it's a big question on our radar. So my goal is that by the time we get to the full release, that this architecture is a lot less confusing and it sort of is a little more seamless and consistent. So that's part of the feedback we're getting too. So and I'll just echo, like the biggest thing we can ask is like that people are trying this stuff out. It's all brand new, and that people are giving us feedback. So we're hearing a lot, but we still need more. So.
Yeah, maybe just a call out for like how can folks join the beta? It might be a good reminder. I saw we're trying to answer that a little bit, but maybe just a reminder would be really helpful.
Yeah, just it's easy now. All HubSpot public betas are available for anyone to enroll, as long as you are in the plan that the beta is open for. So if you have Sales to Service Enterprise account, you can go to the product update and enroll into beta yourself. We also have recently created a community on the page, and we were trying to get all the discussions flowing there, so that we know what you're trying, and any questions you have, if you want to talk to us, reach out on the community page, and we are happy to help you there. Thank you.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit to our CMS folks. Like we're getting a bunch of, actually, no, let's continue with the CRM tool. Sorry about that. So we've been talking a little bit about the UI extensions, or like CRM cards. I think some people are talking about, like, they have a question, like, how are they comparing to the existing CRM extension cards? And like, can we kind of demystify that a little bit? I don't know if that's said all, Mark, but go ahead and jump in.
I can talk about that. I think these are we are trying to reimagine the way you build UI extensions on HubSpot. You build experiences on HubSpot. So unlike the existing CRM card API that you see today, it's a lot different. To start with, this is a different experience. You can build new UX on HubSpot, and with UI components we have, you can hook up serverless functions to the action and build more interactive experiences instead of a simple card. There are a lot many possibilities it opens up in the future, where you can build more interactivity inside HubSpot and make it a hub for your all kinds of operations. And at the same time, you don't need to find a hosting service. You can host these apps on HubSpot itself. So we are seeing many different use cases, and we're trying to reimagine how you build complete UI extensions on HubSpot.
Yeah, we had a community question earlier about, will the new CRM card features, middle pane, custom UI components be available in public apps? We're big users of CRM cards for our marketplace app, but so far it looks like the more powerful features are only for private apps. Can you go ahead and speak to that?
That public apps are on our minds, and we're thinking about it. We want to make sure we get everything done for private apps first, and solve really unique business use cases for individual customers, and then open up for public apps. So we are thinking about it, and that's all I can say at the moment. But more to come in the future.
Okay, great. I skipped over a CMS question. I'm going to change gears, go to the CMS folks, and then we'll come back to a little bit more of the CRM. So GraphQL is now live. Woohoo! We timed it just perfectly. What did you hear about most during the beta, and what are you hoping for now it's in GA?
Yeah. So first off, a big thanks to Will Gobi and the rest of the team for rolling out GraphQL. So it was a lot of work on their part to roll it out. And so far, what we've heard back from the beta is that developers really love the ability to traverse relationships and data. They like the increased portability across accounts, and then also having a familiar query language from another platform. It's also growing in adoption across the web, across the web development ecosystem. So those are some of the things that we saw in the beta. And going forward, now that it's live, we're really excited to see more production use cases using GraphQL. And also just interested to see what kind of queries people come up with and how they really connect to their CRM and their CMS and pull all their data together. So that's what we're excited about. And the one other thing that kind of tying back to that theme around familiar query language, we're really trying to build an open stack for development at HubSpot. So GraphQL just is another way to pull data, as well as the JavaScript building blocks that we introduced today. And so we're hoping that the combination of those two things will really just open up the ecosystem, make it a little less daunting to join and start building on HubSpot.
Great. And there was a question earlier from the community about, will the example project shown in the JavaScript session be made available to look at and play with?
Yes, yeah. So as a part of the private beta, we are excited to share that as some of our getting started type projects. So we will share that with the community.
Okay, great. We have a ton of questions that we've lined up. We have a lot of time too. So I know folks are sitting tight. I even saw the most upvoted one we already have to be answered. So we'll be getting to that. So let's switch back to the CRM folks for a second. And there's a question about, do forms in the card builder support drop-down select options for inputs?
I would say we are thinking about drop-down options. Forms are not complete without drop-down select. So yes, we are thinking about it.
Yeah, the forms as they stand now was very much just an initial release so that we could have people play around with it. But we knew right away, obviously, we need much better form controls in there. So yeah, again, can't promise anything, of course, but I mean, it would be very, very incomplete if we didn't have something to support that use case very soon.
Okay. And are the new development tools going to have Python available as well?
I can talk about that one as well, because we've been debating that a lot internally, especially with the ability to use Python for the API endpoints on the CMS. And I think where we landed on this, hopefully isn't too much of a surprise, where basically the debate is, do we go wide and cast a wide net and try to add support for many different languages at once, or do we go deep and try to make the experience really great for one language and then roll that experience to any other support we want to add in the future? So I think that we can build a much better experience to build on if we take that latter approach, where we just really focus in, specialize on one first before we decide to go broad and just kind of have mediocre support for multiple.
Okay, one more on the CRM side before we switch again. When will the developer tab be ungated to super admin permission set? I'd like to see developer specific permissions without getting super admin.
Want me to jump on this one, Sejal? Yeah. So yeah, figuring out, I think one of the big things on our mind right now is figuring out how to model all the granular permissions that go along with viewing and deploying projects and accessing all the different tools that are under the current development navigation area, because it's a big problem. So at the moment we opted to start with super admins, and we wanted to kind of gauge how people were going to use the tools, how they think about permission and access levels that they want their teams to work with those tools, as we try to figure this out. So it is definitely not the long-term goal that this stays under super admin permission set. We're going to have developer permissions for sure.
Okay, switching gears, and now our number one most, I think, Mark, I don't know if this is your question originally, but we had already noted to ask it, but what is the advice of the server-side rendering team for brushing up on our React skills in the most relevant way ahead of the beta release? I've used Gatsby and Next in the past, but Island seems like an Astro thing. Is it worth hacking together an Astro site this weekend? Timothy, I think you want to take that.
Sure thing. I'll take that. So Astro, for those of you that don't know, I believe the URL is astro.build. It's pretty new, and so I'll start from the top and say, while Astro's islands aren't exactly the same as the islands that we previewed in our talk earlier, Astro's islands and their progressive hydration approach has been a big inspiration for us. And we think that's really useful. And I think that you can learn from Astro, and a lot of that skill and those high level ideas, maybe not the exact syntax, will translate over to HubSpot's JavaScript building blocks. But as for brushing up on React, like, please don't feel compelled. Like, there's always this, technology, new, hip, latest, always have to do new things. But if you're interested, I think that, and we think that investing in the time to start learning or brushing up on your React skills is really, really useful. Again, Hubble is not going anyway, but if you have the time and interest, there's lots of great videos out there and online courses. And I don't have a good list off the top of my head. We can get some of those and make sure we package those up along with our private and public beta docs as those come out. And I've also heard a lot of good things about the new React beta docs, both for learning and tutorials that have like these live examples you can play with and as a good reference. So we'll gather up some of those resources to help you out later on. But please, if you're interested, take the time, invest in React. I think it'll be well worth it for your future. And we'd love to hear your feedback when you get there.
We have questions on fire. I do have a couple more rapid fire ones set up for the CMS team. And then I would suggest anyone listening, to 249 of you, please to go and vote up the rest of the questions that you want us to handle, and we'll try to do our best to get to them. So some rapid fire for CMS team. So will the GitHub integration work for CMS websites as well, or is it limited to CRM projects?
Yeah, so we built the JS building blocks on the developer project's GitHub integration. And that's really because we see that as the future of development for both the CRM and the CMS. So developer projects is now in public beta. And so as it goes through beta and the platform matures, we do plan on bringing that continuous integration and deployment power to the CMS eventually. So I can't commit to a timing right now, but that is in our plans.
Okay. And will we remain limited to HubSpot fields in the creation of our JS modules, or will it be possible to create new ones?
I'll take that. So the quick answer is yes. You will. I mean, well, depends. You will be limited to the fields that are available today for existing Hubble modules. I think the best way to think about it is that the JSX kind of syntax we showed for module fields, and if you have a fields.jsx file inside your JS module folder, think about that as syntax that will render down or compile down to fields.json. And we wanted to do that for interoperability to start. And so, yeah. We'll be using the same system. It's the same fields. It's the same page editing, module editing, sidebar, all of that kind of stuff. It's great feedback, though. We would love to explore in the future what kinds of additional flexibility and power we can add to those fields in the sidebar, but they're very much the same thing with a new way to write and read them and abstract them now.
Okay. One more for rapid fire. Is the dev server only for JS partials and modules, or for HubSpot modules, templates, and everything else CMS related?
I'll take this one. And it's, again, a really good question. And the answer is actually a little bit complicated and messy depending on how you think about it. So yes, the CMS dev server that we're previewing today is mostly targeted at JavaScript modules and JavaScript partials, and giving a real and fast developer experience where you can do a hot module reloading and change those React components locally and see them change live and all that kind of good stuff. It is, if you want to make a change to a Hubble template or a custom module that's written in Hubble, you will need to make that change and either do an HS upload or edit it in the design manager to see that change. However, the cool thing that we have already in our, again, very early dev server preview is that you can do things that proxy a real live rendered page. So let's say you have, I don't know, let's say it's your partners or your website, your homepage that's out there, and you're working on version 2 of it, and it's separated, it's a copy of it, or it's an in-buffered temporary unpublished change. You can start tweaking that Hubble template to refer to a JavaScript partial or a JavaScript module, and then you can have the dev server proxy that locally. So you see that exact HTML that is coming live from the server rendered Hubble, but your local JavaScript changes that you're making on your machine without uploading are like kind of stitched together. So it's a little bit of both worlds mixed together. And it's a little bit weird to wrap your head around, but we think a lot of you'll like it when you start using it, and love to hear the feedback around that.
Great. So we're getting into pure new community questions at this point. I did see one. I'm going to jump in on one for me because I did see someone ask about the HubSpot theme challenge. And for 2022, there will not be one this year. So we really only have 2 months left of the year. And I would say definitely keep your eye on what we're coming up with next. And there are some app and theme accelerators that the team has been doing. And those are also great opportunities to get guided help on things that need to be built. So we'll drop a few links. I'll try to drop them as well about where you can find out more about those programs. But in the next 2 months, no. Okay, the top voted one right now. Any plans for D&D areas for blog posts so that modules can be used? Who would like to take that one?
I'll jump in and take this. I'm not up to date with the latest of this, and I'll definitely bring this question back from the team, and we can hook up to talk more with you later. I think that we're very, very interested in exploring how we can make that kind of wonderful drag and drop experience working with blog posts, but we don't have anything to announce at this time, I don't think.
Okay, and one we talked about earlier, and I also know is in the list, is how much access to Vite or Vite, I'm not sure about that one, do we get? Do we have to do any of the setup or interact with it at all?
That is me as well. 1 second. All right. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Vite, it's actually a French word for quick. So it's a speedy, modern open source tool that's built on top of, I think it's ESBuild, Rollup, and a bunch of other stuff. And so Vite gives you a lot of sweet JavaScript tooling and features out of the box. And compared to maybe some of you have played with Webpack, which is very powerful and great, but it tends to bring a lot of configuration and complexity with it. Vite is kind of the opposite mentality of just like give you stuff for free and you don't have to worry about it. And so both the local CMS developer experience that we previewed today and the production builds that happen on top of this developer project system with these JavaScript building blocks, both of those are built on top of Vite. So the great thing is that you get all of these things that are built into Vite for free. Like in our demo, we showed like you get some CSS module stuff for free. If you want to use TypeScript for free, there's a bunch of other stuff, importing JSON files and getting URL assets. There's a huge long list. So and right now in our implementation that's nearing private beta, like nearly all of those for free building blocks in Vite will be available for you to use without having to set it up, and that's great. Like we're still kind of actively exploring how much that we're going to expose. Is that something you can add your own custom Vite plugins to or not? Will those plugins intersect with some of the HubSpot ones? It's a really interesting question. I don't think we have a great answer yet, but we definitely want to explore that more. Very good question.
Okay, thanks for asking that. This one might be for Mark and the CRM folks, but will webhooks be available for private apps?
Yeah, so we've been hearing this question a lot, and I see it's got a lot of upvotes, a lot of people asking about it. This is one of those things that kind of falls in the category, of like, private apps and the new kind of projects architecture. There's a lot of familiar concepts, but a lot of it is brand new. So the feature parity between public and private apps, it may seem like it's easy to kind of carry that over one-to-one, but it's not as easy as it may seem. So webhooks is one of those things that is on our list of like big features that we want to bring over to project and private apps. I can't give a timeline or exact priority, but I would just say, and I'm not an engineer, I'm a designer, but it is a thing that people are asking about. The best thing we can do is like understand the use cases that's going to serve from the private apps perspective. Webhooks have been available in public apps for a long time, and so we sort of understand the sort of marketplace app and public app model for those and how people are using them. But some of those use cases for like why you want to use webhooks in private apps and how you would imagine using them integrated in with projects and serverless functions and all that would be really helpful for us to understand. So I would encourage you to like reach out through the community and like talk to us about that because it's on our radar, and yeah, it's definitely a thing that people are asking for.
Thanks for answering that. I know that the questions, we can't really group them very easily, so I'm going to try and group a couple right now. Getting back to the D&D areas, can JS partials or JS modules be included in D&D areas via regular modules?
Yes, I'll take this. I think that the answer is yes. And private beta, you will be able to do this. And I think the best way to think about it is that we want, with JS modules, we want to add a lot of new power and functionality to what you can build and like what you can access, and doing third-party NPM packages and all, you know, Stack Overflow and all that wonderful stuff that for those of you especially that have React experience already. But from the rest of the HubSpot product, and you know, whether they're the marketers or business builders or CEOs or whomever that are using your services to build websites, a JS module shouldn't be a thing for them. They should just see a module. And it's just in it from their perspective, they're taking a module that's, you know, they don't know that it's implemented different under the covers. They drag it into their page, edit in the module sidebar, and it all seems to work. So that technical implementation detail is really important for us, and I think really important for you, because it gives us a lot of power and it can do some wonderful things, but it's just the module that can be used in the same way as everything else.
Seen lots of D&D questions in here. Just one more that's been upvoted quite a bit. And a reminder to folks, if you would like us to see a question, it does help if you upvote. So go ahead and scroll through. I see a lot of questions, but I would love to see that. Are there any plans for coded templates for D&D email? And if so, when can we expect to see that available?
I don't know if any of us know that offhand. I've worked with the email team, but not in a couple years. So I think that's a question we'll have to take back to them. I don't know if we have direct experience or knowledge about that. Good question. We'll try to find out.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
We'll have to follow up on that one. Thank you.
Will system pages ever have a page editor experience? They're required templates and marketplace themes, but users building websites in different languages downloading these themes don't currently have an easy way to change the text in these system templates. Thanks, Alyssa, for the question. Who feels like maybe they could jump in on that?
Sorry, I didn't follow the question. Do you mind?
Yeah, it disappeared, unfortunately. Let me pull it up. So will system pages ever have a page editor experience? So they're required templates and marketplace themes, but users building websites in different languages downloading these themes don't currently have an easy way to change the text in these system templates.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, Charles, you can take this if you want, but I think like I also don't absolutely know the answer for this. I know that there's interest in like we would love to make system pages work better and like be more easily editable, especially by those that are non-technical, but I don't think we have anything to announce at this time. Good feedback. I'll take it back.
Okay. Thomas, I am going to call. I know the answer to this, but I ask it every time. Okay, I'm going to give you your moment of fame. Will we ever get direct SQL access or SQL access? GraphQL is much better, but direct transaction SQL queries would allow us to do joins.
Yeah, so Thomas, thank you for the question. I wish I could give you a new answer there, but it's not planned at this time. So it's something that the team is aware of, but it's not on our roadmap right now.
Okay, another one about CMS. Are there plans to use the CMS technology with Hubble and React on other places in HubSpot, as well as like customer portal, knowledge base, or even in dashboards?
Sure, I'll take this. Is this where I can do the Pinky in the Brain voice of like taking over the world? No, I'm just kidding.
Sure.
Yes, like we don't have anything specific to announce.
Hashtag forward-looking statements. Yes.
I'm just getting excited. Anyways, so no, like we don't have anything to announce at this time. I mean, we're excited about the future here, and like to be clear, like we want to start small here. We want to start. We're showing you this as a preview that a private beta is coming out because we want to get your feedback. We don't think that we can just build this giant platform with all these interconnected features, throw it for you, and for it to be perfect. So it's important for us to start small, get your feedback, work together to make it as good as we can, and then incrementally bring it to the rest of the platform. So we have a lot of interest there, but nothing specific to announce yet.
And this is a follow-up on the webhook question, which we asked for private apps, is asking about it for HubDB. Will there be webhooks for HubDB? This would be amazing. The use case is watching changes and performing an API callback. I'm assuming the answer to that's probably like, that'd be great.
I understand the question. I don't know. I can't speak to getting those events on our radar, but it's definitely a thing we can forward to that team because, yeah, makes sense to me.
Okay. Jesus, I see your question about the APIs. I'm going to punt that because this is probably not the right group of people to be answering that, but I do see that it's upvoted and a bunch of people are interested, and we will try to get a good answer for you folks at another time. Is anyone thinking about GraphQL subscriptions as a replacement for webhooks? Charles smiled at that one.
So I know when we were talking about Thomas's question last on SQL, like that was not planned at this time for this one. As far as I know, this is something that's on the team's radar and they're thinking about it, but there are no concrete plans that we can announce quite yet.
Okay. Will it be possible to update a theme module using Hubble with an SSR React version of that module for existing customer pages without breaking anything? Thanks for the final piece, which is the further complexity.
All right. Could you repeat that one more time?
Yeah.
I think I got it all, but I want to make sure that I keep track of the whole question.
Will it be possible to update a theme module using Hubble with an SSR React version of that module for existing customer pages without breaking anything?
There's a lot of subtlety to this question, and I think there's some spots where we still need to work and figure out some of the details here. We definitely want to be able to make it so that you can incrementally adapt. Like one of the whole reasons we're doing hybrid rendering and JavaScript beside your Hubble is we want you to incrementally use it. We want to take it into your existing pages. We don't want you to have to rewrite your entire website to have to use these new building blocks. But as for the specific, like, are we going to be able to make you be able to swap one exactly in place with the same data? I think we're going to have to look into more details there. So I don't have a great answer, but I want us to figure this out and do the best we can to make that easier for you.
Okay. This one's about public apps. Will we ever get integrated objects besides custom objects so that we can make even better and cooler public apps? Who has a thought about that? I think the answer is not yet.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I would say that not yet, but we could check and get back to you. I think David has more thoughts about integrated objects too. If you have anything to add, David, but yeah, we could check with the team and get back to you on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's something we're still collecting information on, looking at these for a while. If you have a public app and you're looking to use custom objects and you're interested in the types of integrator objects that we might create in the future, we have that pilot program to get access to custom objects for your public app. And that's basically we're using that as feedback for what types of objects we would use here. So we're still collecting feedback, but nothing to announce right now as far as like what those objects might be or when they might be ready.
Okay. This might also be one for you, David, but will custom coded actions ever have a centralized error handling place or a way of notifying specific users when exceptions are thrown, or include other libraries like Sentry that we can notify when things go wrong?
Yeah, I think this kind of goes earlier about just better ways in HubSpot in general to see these types of issues when you're writing code or building things that are running inside of the HubSpot infrastructure. I don't think there's any concrete plans right now, but we know this is a pain point for anyone who uses these functions or serverless or any of that kind of stuff. So nothing we can tell you right now, but we know it's a pain point and it's something we're focused on solving.
And I think for that one, that's where feedback is key. And so I don't know feature in particular, but I know as we're developing all of these features for the developer platform, we have opinions on what the best way is to troubleshoot it. But that is, like, troubleshooting, debugging, and getting errors is such that there are like so many different ways to do it that the more we hear, the better we can deliver something for you in a more generalized way instead of just kind of going off our base assumptions. So I would change that to a call to action. Like, let's find out what will be most useful for you.
This is from a new HubSpot customer. Welcome, Grant. So excuse the noob question. Will the developer experience be improved for custom code actions in workflow? Can I develop locally and then deploy like the Hubble custom modules experience?
No, I don't think we have anything to announce regarding local development at the time. We would love to expand and offer more local development. We know folks love it. We love it too internally, but I don't think we have anything to announce right now with that. But I'll definitely take the feedback back to those folks.
This is a Sandbox question. Are there any plans to copy pages from live to Sandbox or the opposite direction?
I assume that's a CMS Sandbox. Or
Yeah, it's a good question. Pages. So I'm assuming yes.
Yep. Yeah, so for the CMS sandbox, we know that there's not that capability right now to sync content from the developer sandbox or the test environment to live pages. And so that's something that we're actively working on and looking into, but I don't have any timing to announce for right now.
This is a question probably for every person on this. How long do private betas usually last? When do you think this might be ready for production? Which, by the way, there's another phase between private and production. But I think it would be helpful to have a few of you weigh in on that, because I think we talked at the beginning about private beta and the kind of the feedback we're getting, but like how, maybe like giving a little insight of like what kind of signals are we looking for as a product team and what kind of feedback we're looking for to like move things from stage to stage. I'd love to get both teams to kind of answer that.
Yeah, so I can start for the CMS side. So the answer that I'll give is, I'm sure dissatisfying or not satisfying for some people, but it depends. So we're really looking for, when we kick off this private beta, we're really looking for engagement. So how many people are using the product, and then what kind of experiences are they having with it. And then the thing that we normally look for in the private betas are any kind of blockers that might prevent us from rolling this out to a larger audience. So we do have to go back through and find solutions to those. So the private betas can last anywhere from weeks to months, and so I wish I could give you a definitive answer, but it really all depends on the data that we're collecting in that private beta.
Yeah, and I would add, like, we see private beta as kind of validating our concepts and hypotheses. Are we solving the right problem? Are there people actually thinking that we are in the right direction, and just kind of validating where we are going with it to get that confidence and continuous feedback. The more people we add into the private beta, though it's a small group of people, but if the more feedback we get during that phase, kind of solidifies the concepts that we sent to public beta. So public beta is when we are like more confident about, yes, this is the direction that we are going on more, and we want to open it up to a larger audience and get more higher level feedback and engagement and see what people are doing with it. And again, this is a phase also where we are inviting more and more feedback. More you test, tell us what's working, what's not working, what's breaking, or where you are struggling or challenges are. That level of visibility and use cases will help us improve our product a lot. So the duration really depends on when we think that we are confident enough, and when we are confident that people are using it and is solving the right set of problems. That's when we kind of decide whether we are ready for the next stage or not.
Yeah, I can kind of jump in with it, maybe a UX perspective here. Yeah, and just echo, like there is no like fixed time frame. It's all about, like, for me, the quality of the experience. So like if there's still a lot of friction points that we're seeing, or question marks about whether there could be potentially friction points that we're seeing internally, and we haven't validated that externally yet. We're not hearing the feedback. Like for me, that's what I'm looking for. Is I don't want to release something or say it's ready to go before it's ready. So again, I guess just another call out to try things out and give us feedback, because that's going to help us get ready to release.
Yeah, I think it's great also for this audience to understand too that we've made some strides in how public betas are accessible now to customers. So like part of like your job can also be educating either your colleagues or your customers like that you're building for how to do that, which is like by clicking on the little avatar. There's a section called product updates, and they can opt into things directly. So I just want to call that out, that now that's like making it even easier for customers to get in there and test things out, but we got to also evangelize that possibility. Great. Lots of questions. Reminder to folks, upvote things so that I can kind of see what's popping up to the top. This is back to an earlier, Alyssa had some questions. So I don't know which one this was for, but are there at least plans to allow easier CSS customization for email? I'm assuming this is CMS related.
Yep. Oh, go ahead.
No, you got it, Charles.
Oh, so yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, and I can go double check and confirm this, but I do think that we do allow inline CSS like customization for emails right now, and so I can follow up on that. And Tim, was there something that you wanted to add?
No, I wasn't going to have any great answer either. Sorry. Like, I don't think we're unfortunately not as knowledgeable about email in this group.
Great. In CRM, is there any plans to add basic list data storage options instead of just objects? There are lots of use cases for non-object level data sets, especially in mapping data. For example, if I wanted to manage lead routing based on sales territory, I need a table with all my regions assigned to a rep that I can draw workflow data from. You could also use these lists to create custom dropdown properties on multiple records using the same list of options. First of all, thank you for the awesome use case, because we want to hear all of that. I've loved most of these questions that have a use case with it. It really helps us later. But who wants to speak to that?
I'm looking at Ben and Sejal. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on this. This question of like data storage has come up. I don't have an answer for it, but I know it's
come up in the past too. And we've discussed this. It's not come up as often as it should have. So it seems that you have more usage. And I would like to see, do post it on community so that I have a reference of those use cases. And if there are more references of that, we'll start thinking about that too. But at this point, we have discussed this and not really in the near future that we're planning, but we are open to considering based on, what's out there in terms of use cases.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I think a lot of this depends on using the pieces that the HubSpot platform already has, right? And so in this case, the CRM has a bunch of powerful features that you can use for storing things, custom properties, custom objects. There's also HubDB. We've got a bunch of different things that we can expose. So part of this would be persuading a team or finding out if there's something that we're missing internally. But there's also, we want to keep some of this stuff flexible because we want to make it so that you can actually use a third-party database or some other library that you can use to integrate another system if that doesn't fit the schema that we have. So it really is going to be a blend of those things, not to kind of keep harping on this, but the more we hear about these examples, which this one is great because it's detailed, that's how we are going to get these changes in. But yeah, great question.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Any updates coming for content staging? Content staging updates.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to take this, Charles, but I'm not familiar enough to know. Either we don't have anything to announce this time, or I just don't know what's going on.
Great. All right. And just a reminder, folks, it would be awesome if you could put your question in the form of a question. That would also help me in asking the team on things. Okay, that one we answered. So someone had a question about the Campaigns API. I actually don't think, just correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think this team is the right team to ask about the Campaigns API. Okay, so I know there's votes on that, and I'm just acknowledging that we have it, but probably not for this session. So here's a React question. If you used React locally, what would a marketer see when they edit the theme in the design manager?
If you use React locally, so I'm trying to remember, maybe one of you folks on the CRM side that are more with project, I'm pretty sure that you're going to be able to see the project folder in the design manager, but you're not going to be able to click in and edit that. Maybe you can see it read only. I can't remember the details. You folks check me, but it's like the project CI/CD kind of system. It kind of breaks down if you have some people coming in from a different pipeline and making a change from the side. So it does if you make those CMS assets, JS building blocks changes, they're going to be going through the pipeline. They'll be showing up either as read only or just as an item in the sidebar.
Yeah, that's as far as my knowledge goes. That's right. We do show the project sort of file tree within the design manager at some level, but I don't know if they were asking if you're going to see a module space in the page template or something. But as far as the files go, yeah, I think you're right.
People are loving the webhooks. We have another question, part 3 question of webhooks. We were really excited to see tickets added to webhooks. Can you expect to continue expanding other objects or custom objects?
I would give the same answer as bringing webhooks over to it's really a matter of understanding what the demand is and to get that on the team's radar. full disclosure, the webhook system is like a sort of like a framework, a shared framework that the system exists, but teams kind of contribute to it depending on the events that we want to surface. So, and I don't believe anybody from the teams who would own that are here. So probably can't give you any concrete, but same answer, basically. It's a feature add.
Okay, great. The question I was asked next disappeared, so I'll just hope that someone answered that next. Is there a timeline for migration tool to change data center? Oh, I can actually chime in on that one. So the data migration tool is currently in private beta. And I believe if you have a customer that is a good candidate or you are a customer, you should reach out to your customer success manager to get more information on availability, eligibility, and just in general, how the private beta is going. Okay, is there something in the pipeline for custom code on work? Hit the API burst limitations on internal HubSpot API calls. Via normal UI, there are no burst restrictions, but this applies when we use custom code. And have a perspective on that. Nope. Okay, I think this group's going to pass.
Yeah,
oh, David.
I don't think there's any plans, at least none that I know of, for improving that. It's something that we're aware of. We've heard it from a few folks. Part of it is we want to have better tools for like handling those kinds of rate errors in the workflows, and just reevaluating our API limits in general. We do that every couple of years, just as kind of a general rule, see what those limits are and how they're working for our customers. But again, I don't think there's any plans right now to change how that works by itself outside of providing better ways to like manage that when it happens.
Thanks, David. Back to React. Are there plans to use React components in the CRM extension as well?
Specific plans, no, but like as I've said earlier, that we'd really love to do what we can to build a wonderful modern platform for developers to use. Like it isn't like we're trying to look in that crystal ball to figure out the exact future and the tooling and the stack and the wonderful developer experience of the future. I personally think, and many of us think, that React has a big part to play in that, but it isn't clear how all the pieces add up together. And we are working very closely, especially as we roll through these private betas and we get more feature sets in respective places, and we get more feedback and they get their solid ground on the platform. That puts us in a lot better place to start drawing the lines further into the future to see if and when and how these things meet. So I think there's a lot of interest and some potential there, but we have no specific plans to announce at this time.
Yeah, and then just to add to that, there's one requirement that we had for cards, and we need a server to be able to run because for things like secrets, integrating with other APIs. So we wanted to start there because that's a building block we know we cannot omit from the plan. So we're always looking to figure out how we can augment that. I've talked to Tim a lot about this, so we are definitely not ignoring it, but we just want to make sure we get those first building blocks in there, get the feedback, and then see what's reasonable to kind of iterate on from there.
I have a question on sandboxes. Will there be a better way to migrate sandbox CRM environments to production? Clients want to see the completed changes and how they'll work in the sandbox. Sometimes they want to test in sandbox as well. Workflows, custom objects, properties, everything basically then needs to be recreated in the prod portal.
Yeah, and I can say Sandbox TV is working on that part, on better pushing to production and syncing. In terms of CRM development, we have special sandboxes for developers called Dev Sandboxes, and you can use a GitHub integration today to push your code if you're working on extensions to production, and that's a really good way if you're using GitHub integration and versioning with that. But if you are using standard sandboxes, we can get back to you on that, but I'm sure Sandboxes team is working on that one very well.
Okay, there's a question here about changing a name of a field in a module. So is there any plan to add features that would allow developers to change the name of a field in a module without disconnecting it from the data across all usages? For example, we have a choice field called blob style, but now we want to change this to graphic style. And unfortunately, making that update would break the thousands of pages using it.
No, this is a really good question. I don't think we have anything specific to announce at the time, but it's a really good point, and we can and would like to do better there, but nothing specific to announce at this time.
Okay. I see a couple questions that are upvoted that I do think this team is not the right folks to handle it. So let me see what else I can grab here. Are there any plans for timeline events in private apps? I think these are all going to Mark almost.
So I hate to be a broken record, but this is, I mean, almost literally the exact answer as webhooks, because it's another one of those things where, again, private apps and public apps feel very similar by design, but they are built on different architectures, different backend frameworks. So as how we pull, which features we pull over and how we pull them over, we have to be we have to prioritize. So, you know, timeline events are on the list for sure. I'd probably hazard a guess that they're below webhooks, but they're one of the things on the list.
Okay, I'm going to grab a few. Yeah, go ahead, David.
Sorry, just to follow up, if there's any other questions along this line, I think it's going to be the same answer for anything that's in private apps or only in public apps. We're looking at like how we can make one of the things that only work for one make with the other, just in general for all features of both of those. So if there's any other questions, I know webhooks and timeline events are kind of the two most common, but there's also things like calling extensions and some of the other extensions like that. We're looking at that for every feature of public apps.
Okay. I know we're getting close on time. I'm going to try to grab the questions that are most related to what we've talked about today. And I'm also going to ask the panel another question to jump in. But first, with SSR and a bigger focus on React, will we still be limited to React packages 1.2 megabytes in size or less?
Limited to React packages 1.2 megabyte size and less. I'm actually less familiar with that. I mean, one of the benefits of how we're doing this, and well, you know, we have server rendering alongside client-side rendering. A lot of the bundle size considerations are far less concerning when we have that code running on the server and it's happening and then it's outputting, you know, some static HTML. So I think that is going to offer a lot more flexibility so that you can have like either bigger, more dependencies. Like, I mean, it's a tricky question to go fully down the path of all the nuances with it, because like NPM is a very great tool, but it also, there's dragons there of like, if you depend on this and this and this and this, and you can pull so many things in. So I don't think I have a specific answer here because I'm not exactly sure where the questioner is coming from, but I think that things will be better. But like, let's learn if there's a specific point there that's either driving friction currently or with the JS Building Blocks beta that comes out, please let us know. And we would love to work through and make that better.
This kind of feels like a follow-up question almost, but with the potential added complexity of React modules, are there any plans to expand developer control over the module editing experience?
I don't think there's tons of specific plans. Like, we're always trying to add new field types, add more capabilities to field types and more power and things like, so we're constantly trying to make those better. I mean, some of those are going to be a little bit more on the developer side of things. Some of those are going to be a little bit more on the content creator, business owner, marketer side of things. I think the questioner is probably coming from the place of like the wanting more control on the sidebar to change like a layout and that kind of stuff. I don't think we have any specific plans at that time, but it is really interesting feedback, and we will certainly be looking towards some of that in the future.
I think there's a separate question, but kind of related to code editing, really coming to the code editor, like such as like code completion. If anyone has any thoughts on that. Charles,
do you have about like you know, the features that are coming to either the design manager versus like, you know, the things about VS Code and that kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looking forward, we're really planning to double down on the local development experience. And so while I can't discuss the specifics at this time, there are a number of improvements that we plan on making to the existing like VS Code extension, and then also our CLI tooling. So while I can't comment on the exact features, we are looking into improving that local development experience.
Great. I think we're going to have time for maybe one or two more questions from the community. This is your fast and furious upvoting time while I ask the panel. Actually, I'm going to actually turn it around on them, give them a magic wand to ask the folks that are listening anything that they can. So I would love to hear a couple of perspectives from folks on what they would love to hear. I will go first just to give you an example. Like I've been really excited to see how many folks are coming in from all over the world. And I think one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to as we start to tell these customer stories, especially on the technical side, I want to be telling those technical customer stories, is I want global. I want some global use cases. I want, some local, integrations and things that we need to highlight. So would love for that to be really represented in the stories that we're telling, is how many people we have really all over the world building on HubSpot. That's my magic wand question. I don't know if someone else wanted to jump in. Tim, I know you maybe had a question.
I'll go. So classic magic. Well, I guess it's not the classic magic wand question. It's kind of like the backwards magic wand question. So if I had a magic asker for the community, I guess I'd cast a spell to make the broader web development community as kind and as enthusiastic and as joyful to work with as our HubSpot developer community. So I'm an engineer, I'm a nerd. I love technical debates. I love excessive bike shedding and all that kind of technical kind of jibbing jabbing and what's better than whatever. To be honest, there's a lot of folks and leaders across the broad web development space, tech Twitter, Silicon Valley, whatever, that orange website, all that kind of stuff, that tend to take things a little too far, in my opinion. They have way too many us versus them debates, and they bring out their pitchforks. But the web is like a huge and varied space. In my humble opinion, there is never going to be one perfect solution that meets everybody's needs. And it's kind of a little useless to have those arguments about this is the best thing and you should always use it for this. So, I know I'm getting touchy-feely and sappy here, but I wish that we would all learn and work better together to make the web and, the world a better place. And I think that the broader technical community that I often see, and maybe I spend a little bit too much time on Twitter and those places, could learn from the example that you folks have set and the enthusiasm and the kindness and all that great stuff that you bring. And anyways, so I'll stop rambling there, but that's what would be my magic wand.
Well, as a product manager, I want to see my products being used more and understand how people are using it more. So I'm on Dev Slack. If you are there, you can see my calendar, book a meeting and talk to me. I just want to talk to as many people as possible, and that's the magic wand, that if I can talk to as many developers as possible who are using HubSpot CRM for extending and integrating, I would love to do that.
Yeah, and just to add to that, also as a PM here at HubSpot, it does help to, or if I had my wish, I would really ask for just continued engagement and patience as we continue to build. So from what I've seen, HubSpot is excellent at putting out small tests, and so be patient with us as we continue to put out these tests. Please stay engaged and continue to give us your thoughts and feedback so we can keep improving the products.
Yeah, and someone was saying, how can we say thanks to you folks now and in the future? The HubSpot developer experience is overall very good, and we appreciate that. That's really helpful to hear. I think that one of the things I'll reiterate is when you're asking for things that make your job easier, like we're seeing with those examples, that even if you have you can't tell us your customer name, but if you give us as much as you can about what the customer is trying to do to make them successful, that just really helps us. And we may start to hear repetitive themes, right? Versus can we have an API endpoint for content staging? If you put it in a context of this is what we're trying to do, this is how we're trying to make customers successful, that additional 30 seconds, 2 minutes of putting that context in really enriches what we're able to do in acting on it. I don't know if anyone else had a magic wand answer, but we are getting pretty much at time. So I think that, let me just see if we have time to answer any more questions here. I do want to just thank our panel today. It is hard taking, I think, and I want to thank the community, some really good questions. I know we couldn't get to all of them. We don't have every single product and every single piece of the product represented here. So some of those things we just weren't able to get to, but I really want to appreciate both the community and the folks for kind of taking these rapid fire live questions. And we hope this was useful for you. And we'll be giving out, all this content later on our channel. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter or for the YouTube, definitely suggest that now. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of make sure we end on time and to thank everyone for coming to this. Really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.